Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right, so...
Let's talk cops!
Well, okay.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when Dan comes for you? I am the law enforcement representative of the show because I watch more On Patrol Live than anyone in the world.
So yesterday, and a lot of people in social media and everything
You
were
got an
talking
opinion?
about
You got an opinion?
the Tyreek Hill, them basically detaining him before the game.
Hands
putting him
up,
in
don't
handcuffs.
shoot, bro.
And-
Don't tase me, bro.
And then even yesterday when we were talking about it, I was like, well, the body cam footage will eventually
Yes.
come out, and we'll see what
Yeah.
transpired.
And we were
right?
happy, right? We were
And then-
excited for it.
So, and I fully expected, because at first I was like, well, what did Tyreek say or do
Yeah.
to get him pulled out of the car?
I'll
right?
tell you what I thought. I thought he was lying. The whole, like, my mama didn't raise me like that. I was like, oh, this guy he went crazy.
I just thought, I was like, for them to pull him out of the car and put him in handcuffs, something must have happened.
I think-
Probably what a lot of people thought.
I think worse than even the handcuffs when you're on the ground. I feel like anytime you're on the ground, isn't that the kind of the national symbol for, like, this is not going well?
Yeah, when they put you onto the ground,
No, and
face down,
then they put the
on
knees
the
on you,
streets.
and then they're
Yeah.
getting you.
But and then so the body cam footage did come out, and I watched it, and my opinion has changed because I was like, they didn't need to pull him out like that aggressively. They didn't even give up like 10 Mississippis.
Well,
now,
I didn't like the way he handled it, and
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
a
no.
Tyreek. I mean, he's on my fantasy team, so I am a fan of his athleticism.
and again-
not a fan of his attitude.
he didn't do nothing. He did, he had his window rolled down, and then he rolled it up, and then the cop was like knocking on it,
Hold
and he
on, let me put my-
refused to roll it down again.
Let me put myself
But-
in Tyreek's shoes for a second. Like, I think maybe I could make a case that if I just had my windows tinted and the cop was banging on my windows hard, that Danny Denny may have said, hey, knock that off.
He did say, "Don't knock on my window,"
Like
which,
that, yeah.
Which I mean,
Why are you knocking on my window like
you
that?
could say that.
You can say that, but should
we
you
have
say
rights.
that? It's not on the things you should
No.
say to cops.
Hey, no, and he was kind of being a D-head, but that is not against your rights.
It's not against the law to be a D-head.
Yeah. But it does, doesn't help the situation. But that cop, and when I heard the cops talk, I'm like,
Oh, you got triggered.
I grew up in Miami, and I'm like, there are a lot of Miami D-head cops, and my buddy knows
Yeah.
this. He doesn't know the
Don't
cop.
say who it is.
But he knows this cop got suspended before for putting performance and chrome parts on his cop bike and using
Government money.
police
Yeah.
funds to do that.
Yeah,
and
you're
he
not
got
supposed to
suspended.
be
when-
souping up your screaming eagle.
and then my buddy that I know really well, he told me this cop has a reputation for being a D-head. So then I was like, well, I'm glad Tyreek did this because it exposed this D-head cop, and he probably
Yeah.
should learn his lesson
mean-
about how to de-escalate a situation and not
Yeah.
escalate it to this point.
Well, I always
don't think I needed to get there.
Yeah, and we have a special guest on the line, do we
yeah.
not?
So
Tyreek Hill, everybody. Tyreek, how you been?
you having another kid?
Yeah. What's going on?
No,
great
so-
season.
So I
So far.
I figured we'd have a discussion with an actual police officer and a BDM police officer.
Yeah.
So
we got a lot of BDM police officers.
we have, and I told him I wouldn't use his real name just in case.
Ooh, can I make up a name?
Yeah.
Your name is Katarji Flargo.
All right. Okay,
Officer
we'll
Flargo.
We'll call him BDM cop.
Okay, that's real creative. Wow,
So-
that's fun.
So how you do? Thanks for taking the call, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
So did you watch?
Hold on, this is Pabone. I know Pabone's voice
No.
anywhere.
And by the way, I had to look. I was looking through my phone. I have a lot
You
of
do.
different police officers.
You have an
on my
army
phone.
of cops on your phone. My God. If we want to knock around some wives, we know where to go.
Partly because
D&D security force.
yeah, we got them.
I fully expected to make a call one day
Yeah,
to
yeah.
try to get me out of trouble.
You try to
Anyway.
get every county, right? It's like
So-
Pokemon. You got to get Seminole, Orange, got to
That's
get Lake. Catch them all.
They're getting me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, has anybody seen the Grady Judd doll you can buy?
No.
Grady Judd has a doll now. You
That's
can buy it.
ridiculous.
You pull the string and it talks.
That's ridiculous. So, did you see the video?
Yeah, I've watched about 3.5 minutes of it.
Okay.
From the initial contact to about when his teammate is refusing to leave the roadway.
Now, let me just say too, because it's not all one-sided. Like, I do also think that. Now, this is what I wanted to ask the police officer on the line.
Officer Flargo.
So let's talk about like leaving your window up when. Now he had it down. and then he rolled it up after he got pulled over. It's on the body cam footage. Are you allowed to keep your window up when you get pulled over? Because me and Daniel, we've seen a lot of like TikTok videos of people like cracking your window like a quarter of an inch, and then
I did that to my wife when she wasn't give me something. I just crack it. I'm like, get it through the slot.
And then those like the TikTok influencer,
the sovereign citizen.
Yeah, the sovereign citizens are like, this is my right. I only have to crack the window.
Those guys, I hate them because they usually have
those
their
are
ID
D-heads, too.
and registration in a Ziploc bag, and then they put their Ziploc bag through the window, and then they hang it there for the cop to look at.
So what is the law, sir?
So basically, when we pull you over, you're automatically detained. It's a lawful stop, so you're technically in our custody at that point. When you start acting aggressive and fishy like Hill was doing, rolling up that window, from what I could tell, that tint was super dark, and we can't tell who he is or what he's pulling out of whatever, pocket under the seat.
That's what we call it. It's gun tent.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I should have said that.
That's what first thing I thought is like, if you can't see in the car, then it's a safety issue. Now, let me ask you this, because there is something common sense in play here, right? It's the guy is driving a car.
He laughed at the common sense. I knew at one point he laughed at common sense.
Because that's what society sees. Where like, okay, Tyreek Hill is driving a car that's a $500,000 McLaren or whatever.
It's a beautiful machine.
So
you're using context clues to build your case as you approach the vehicle. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I'm just saying that. I understand you roll up your tinted window, then it's a safety issue at this point, and you're like, hey, roll up because now the guy could be pulling out a gun, but. A McLaren, middle of the day, you're across the street from the stadium.
Yeah,
other police officers
are around.
Yeah, you're in traffic.
You're surrounded by gigantic players.
And is there any common sense where like, hey, before I rip this guy out of the car, maybe he's just a rich D-head, and then maybe I should, or once the window comes up, or you're ripping everybody.
Sorry, you've gone too far.
What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, we treat everybody exactly the same. Once you start giving us hints that you're not acting normal, which he wasn't acting normal, you're going to raise our suspicion that you're up to no good.
But should you treat everybody the same?
This is where Tom goes off the rails in his new argument. His class system. Wait till you hear his class system.
I know the society is beaten into you. You got to treat everybody the same. I say, but when you got the guy driving a McLaren and he's just probably a rich D-head, most likely not going to shoot through the window. And now I understand that you're like, I can't. I just have to program.
Be a stolen car.
Right. Well, you could build any, hypothetical, but like, why not just? I mean, maybe I almost kind of get him coming out of the car, but why to the ground? Because isn't that normally something you do when you think somebody's going to fight you? And I didn't think that.
Well, because he started resisting, like he didn't want to get out of the car.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna take all play out of it, and we're just gonna take you to the ground and secure you, because that's the safest thing for us to do.
Gotcha.
Now I know that you're following procedure or whatever. You go through like, okay, they roll up the window, safety, all this stuff. All right. So, but do you agree that if you let's say obviously hindsight's 20/20, but if I'm the cop, right, and then I'm like, I got trained to do it.
He'd be fine if you were the cop.
And I'm like, and then he rolls up his window, and now I'm like, all right, I know that. The procedure tells me that I have to drag him out, or at least I have to open the door, pull him out. He's not, whatever. But I'm looking at his car, and there's other cops coming. We're across the street from the stadium. I'm like, I bet this is a football player. Like, if I pull this guy...
But there were two other guys influencing you there, too. You have to weigh that in, right?
Yeah. If I pull this guy out, and then he's a famous football player, then the department looks bad, is negative press for everybody, like the internet goes crazy. I'm probably just going to be put on administrative leave, which he was. It's a big pain in the ass.
I don't think you have time to think about that.
I don't know. I can think
You're
pretty
not
fast.
thinking about any of that. You're just reacting to what you're being given at the time.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I can think pretty
So-
fast.
Yeah, Tom calls himself Tom Fast Thinking Van.
I'm like, yeah, McLaren, and then some others guys like, hey, that's Tyreek Hill. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's the part that bothered me. In the video, pretty early on, a guy goes up to the, I think it was like the third guy that, to me, was
that was one of the backup officers. The initial officer, he was talking to Tyreek, and he was focused in on him, so he probably didn't even hear that comment.
Yeah.
Listen.
You could tell that, like, there was a carnival of errors. Not good.
So, listen,
Yeah.
at the
I
end.
mean, the cop, I'll say this, the cop, to me, appeared to be a little bit more aggressive than he should have been, like right off the bat. But
That's kind of what we thought, but also Tyreek didn't do himself any favors, right?
Yeah. Listen,
that's the thing. All he had to do was go, yes, officer, what can I do for you?
But guess what?
And that situation would have been way different.
And I told this to Tom this morning. That will Tyreek Hill will never do that. And I'll bet my daughter's life on it. That is not a He will never say, yes, officer, here's my ID. That's not the Hill way.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I don't want him doing that.
That
He's my
sounds
running back.
horrible.
He's my running back. I don't want him doing that.
Listen,
don't lose your edge, buddy.
Yeah. And
Keep that edge. Keep that edge.
And I know this is not how it's supposed to be, but if I get paid $100 million and I have to pay an insane amount of taxes and more, you know what I'm saying? I do feel...
You don't want to ever go to ground.
I do feel that I've bought myself some...
Keep my shirt clean.
Yeah. Like, hey, last year I just paid $5 million to Florida, and I'm
Well,
certain...
you could, but he didn't do the work. He didn't do the work,
I know.
right? Like, you
Listen.
hear stories of Michael Jordan. Like, Jordan never got pulled out, and he
Listen.
got to do whatever he wanted. You got to grease the wheels ahead of time, Tyreek.
Listen, I'm effing around. In all, everybody knows I'm effing around, and then
I didn't know that. I thought you're dead serious.
And then, and at the end of this, the day, nothing happened. This whole thing's a nothing. You brought Tyreek Hill, you put him on the ground, he gets back into his McLaren, and then drives to a game, scores a touchdown, makes fun of him getting arrested. And I would say this probably is a benefit to his entire social media presence, everything about
people
him.
think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like the Gritty.
So
it gives him some cred.
yeah, and
It does. It does.
not even that. It just overall publicity. Now, also a negative towards the cop, right? Even though technically he may have not violated a law. Or whatever.
Tom, all it did is make all my Miami friends, which I have a lot of them, go, yeah, that's a typical Miami cop. That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard.
It is negative publicity that you probably didn't need.
It's a stereotype. Every friend of mine that is from that area was like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what they do down there.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh, come on.
And then
I mean, I would kind of expect a Miami cop to act that way just because of the environment of Miami.
Right.
Yeah. But again,
A lot of Tyreeks.
do the math.
No.
The guy driving the
math
McLaren.
is not his religion.
Anyway, so now what is the TikTok videos that I watch about the
Sovereign citizen.
sovereign citizen, like cracking your window like an inch? Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it basically, we just want to have a conversation. Like, most cops aren't out there to just, like, fuck up your day. All right.
Yeah.
What show are we on?
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it, man. You're good.
Yeah, we'll cut it out.
We're just trying to educate you on road safety. Sometimes you talk your way into a ticket, and a lot of times you can just being cordial with us and being respectful will get you with just a warning.
Can I use my Tesla megaphone to speak to you from the interior of my car without putting my window down?
You know what? I mean, you got really tinted windows?
Oh, man, they're tinted. I just got them done. Oh, man, they're bad. They're real bad.
What about not?
Yeah, they're real dark.
What about not talking at all? You don't have to talk at all, right? You just have to hand.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to us at all. I mean, it's definitely going to raise our suspicions. Like, all right, does this guy, is he going through something? Is he going through a mental breakdown? Like,
always.
That stuff's going to start giving us, some questions. But, yeah, I mean, if you crack the window and you're giving us the information that we need, your license, registration, insurance.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. You
and
pull
we're able
up.
to identify you, then you're good.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. You pull me over. I pull over. I already have my license and registration in the trunk. I go to my megaphone, and I'm like, hello, cop. My registration and license are in the trunk. I will pop it remotely. You can approach the trunk. Right?
No, because then
flip it on them.
You're
then
doing
I got
something
the
weird.
power now.
No.
I'm the cop now.
No, but then you're doing something
No,
weird.
I think they'll like this. It's technology.
No,
Everybody
no.
loves technology.
No.
No.
If the trunk pops open, that scares the shit out of us.
Okay, all right, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I won't pop the trunk.
Also, I like to do the old school move where I take my billy club out and I break your taillight. I've always wanted to do that.
It's easy to do in a Tesla, too. Most of their lights are already broken.
All right, well, we won't.
Hello, cop. Please approach the frunk, which is the front trunk. This is an electric vehicle.
Dude, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I know, we
know you're busy eating donuts and stuff, so we appreciate the time.
We wasted your time.
Anytime you guys have questions, I'm more than happy to talk to you.
Last
right,
question. When you're at a barbecue restaurant, why do you guys always pop your hood to the engine? Is it to cool them off? What were you doing?
Yeah, modern day cars don't need to be
Yeah.
cooled.
Those are the canine vehicles
Oh, that makes sense.
because we have to keep the vehicles running so the canine doesn't overheat.
There you go. All right. Hey, you learn something every day. All right. Stay safe out there, man.
Thanks, you guys too.
See you,
Yeah.
buddy. He's a good sport.
Yeah. No, I know because
Good sport. Like you're coming into the weirdo factory.
Because we are giving the court of public opinion, and he's giving his,
It's a tough job.
police. Yeah,
It's a hard job.
But I do, even when I saw the video, and again, did the cop have every right to do what he did under the law? Probably yes. But I do think that there's some more and I understand you're just reacting. It's hard, and then when someone doesn't comply and your windows are tinted, you are trained this guy could be getting his gun out, right? And then so it's all right, you have to do So Tyreek Hill could have avoided this by leaving his window down. Yes, but the cop could have avoided this by not being seemingly on video such a D-head.
And my point of both of those is Tyreek being nice and a Cuban cop in Miami not being the stereotype. Probably not going to ever happen. I can't see that mixture.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. It's certainly interesting. Is this the worst? What's the worst cop? What's the worst celebrity cop altercation?
Oh, I'm sure there's been a lot of them.
The Randy Travis one was really bad. Remember when he was
a lot of
super
times
drunk and he
it's
was had his pants down or whatever?
The Mel Gibson.
The Mel Gibson was really bad.
And that was before body cams, but there was audio, right?
There was audio, yeah.
Because I think
he called the cop sugar teas.
Yeah, because we were laughing.
Yeah.
I think he was saying wasn't he saying anti-Semitic things?
Oh yeah,
or
I think he did go on a bit of a Jew tirade. Yeah, a Jewish person tirade where he was blaming them for things. People do that. That's a thing. It's horrible.
Yeah, but it's odd that he started screaming that during a traffic stop.
It makes me think alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Isn't
but
it like
also
he drank his brains out?
A mega POS. Anyway,
I don't understand him. I think he's a good actor. So I think up there is sometimes there's just it's all
nuts.
Messed up up there. You want to take a little break?
Yeah. We'll take a break. But again, all in all, it is a nothing, and Tyreek Hill ended up benefiting off this by microtransactions benefiting.
No,
right?
wait, quickly, because I texted the group chat because he is he's my RB1, right? My receiver one.
Yeah.
He's my guy, and he done. I was like, oh, that's it. He's going to jail. I was like, I've lost my game.
Oh yeah. Well, when it first happened, I was like, what?
I was like, oh my God. Well, when the first report came out, Schechter said it, and they didn't have the footage, even the roadside footage. They just said he's been detained. I'm like, oh, great. Because I'm envisioning, I'm like, well, obviously, and this is, again, guys, I don't care about him, really. I don't know him. But I was like, the stereotype that I know of Tyreek Hill is he's running his mouth. I'm like, oh, God. I know it. He's going to jail. Yeah, that was a pretty solid guess, I thought.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think
he got lucky.
Everybody thought. And then he just shows up and scores a touchdown. So it doesn't bother him at all.
Makes a joke about it. Looks better than ever. There he goes, off to the races.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more corporate time.
That is really cool of him to do that. It's good.
Yeah, because we're giving a lot of shit, and
Really good. Where does that go?
Tuesday 2.
Got it. What are we doing now?
We are doing Tuesday 4, a 15-minute voicemail.
Gotcha. Since I did the drywall sanding, my eyes, I feel like there's been drywall in my eyes since I did it, and it won't go away. And I'm like, should I have worn eye protection during that?
Nah.
I didn't think so either. I wore a mask because it gets terrible, but... Oh, Robert, I count on you for jokes like that. Robert says, thank you, Officer Flargo. Someone's trying to trade you McCaffrey for CeeDee Lamb, Norm?
Do not take that trade.
I wouldn't take it.
They may rest McCaffrey for a while. They're going to rest him again this week.
Yeah, they already said he's out for what?
Because he's also got like an Achilles. Like they do not, if they could win without him, which they can, then all they need him for is the playoffs. He may be fucking half the year rested.
Yeah, they're going to be sparing with him. They already said that. Would you like to start? I'll bring us back. Here we go. And 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Let's do some voicemail.
Voicemails. Couple of ways you can leave us a voicemail. 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's a number you can call, and you can leave like a standard voicemail message. Or if you have our free Tom and Dan app where all of our content lives, you can hit a button called Mediocre Messages, and you can check out and leave a little message like this one right here. You really whacked the bee's nest on the mention of the movie The Mist.
Hello, Tom and Dan. It's Canadian Josh. On the last BDM show, you guys were talking about the movie The Mist. Now, I do notice the movie The Mist comes up quite a bit. Tom usually brings it up, so obviously burned into his memory as a child. Anyway, as you know in the movie, at the end, he thinks his whole family is going to get eaten by giant space bugs, so he kills them all, and then before turning the gun on himself, realizes they are in fact rescued by the army. Well, I'm a huge Stephen King fan, so I just wanted to chime in on it because in the books, they actually all escape. His family gets out of the mist, and they're like heading down the interstate, and they pick up like a radio signal somewhere, and there is some, it kind of alludes to the fact that there is some sort of hope for humanity and that the entire world isn't lost. But I guess the director of the film, Frank Darabont, he wanted it to have a horrifying and lasting memory, which it obviously did because it's burnt into Tom's memory, and we're still talking about it. Anyway, love you guys. BDM for life.
That one's interesting to me because I'm a fan of the catastrophic ending. I always have been.
Oh.
I like the movies that end where it's like, and then the lead character, and there's not a lot of them, like where the main character goes on this Odyssey-esque journey, and he gets to the very end, and he goes up against the villain, the baddie, the big boss, and the big boss smashes his brains out.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of those. But I am a fan of those because they seem, even as a young man or even as a kid or as a boy reading comic books, it seemed more realistic to me for the little guy, like me, I guess, to be destroyed. It just seemed more authentic.
Yeah.
Because it happens a lot. The David and Goliath story doesn't happen very often. Not in reality.
And let's, we play the little bit 5 minutes later of the end of that movie. That guy's killing himself too.
Right.
He's not like, oh God,
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'll go with the army.
Like they could have taken it. Well,
he was about to do it anyway, and this is just as good, maybe even better reason to.
They could have taken it a little further and showed how they locked him up and didn't allow him to murder himself, which would be eternal torture.
Yeah. And that's even worse.
That's even more twisted, right?
Yeah,
but they didn't do that. They kind of. I think they kind of. But I do like the ending. It's a better ending than the family walking down the interstate and they get picked up by John Candy in an Oompa band and they go, hey, we're good. Kevin's fine.
Yeah. So, sometimes having bad endings is at least unique. So it's not as stereotypical, and you're like, oh, okay, well, at least the director thought like, hey, this is gonna stick with people, and like Canadian Josh says, like, it obviously did.
Yeah. From the chat room, Robert says, I remember taking a creative writing class where the professor discouraged killing off your main character at the end because it's, quote, a cop-out in her opinion.
I was like too easy to,
I mean, I don't know.
It's like a stunt.
I guess depending on how you do it. I mean, the main character, maybe I can see that. But what I've always appreciated, and I think most people do, when there's a comic relief character or a character that gets a lot of, like, heat on screen, and then they die.
Yeah,
like, you take something that's even more beloved than the main character. Like, there were characters in Walking Dead, they were far more beloved than Rick ever was, that went, like, Glenn. Glenn was the guy, right? I think we can all admit that we love Glenn over everybody.
Yeah. Then it was a big deal.
And when he got his head bashed in, people were vomiting, right? Like people, I can't go to work the next day. That's a cop out if you couldn't go to work the next day.
I will fire you as a boss if you
get out of here.
If you don't show up to work.
Glenn died from Walking Dead. Well, you know what? I just bashed your job's head in with a bat, and I'm Negan, so you're not. Guess what? You're done. You're fired.
I don't want someone working for me if they can't. They're so weak.
But that was the one.
Glenn died.
That was the one, and I think that's what I checked out too. I was like, you killed Glenn. And Rick, I hate Rick. And the fact that he's Australian, even that sucks so bad that this middle America cop that has this pudding-eating kid is Australian. Not on my watch. AMC or whatever the hell you are. Let's try this one right here. We only answer the tough questions, Tom. And this right here is one of the toughest questions.
What's up, T&D? Shart and Randy. I have a couples etiquette question for you. If you are going out with your spouse's coworker or friend for the first time, are they obligated, should they tell you ahead of time if that person has a deformity or an abnormality? Or am I just really vain? I think that you need to let somebody know so you can go in prepared for the situation. If there's like a big birthmark, if there's like a missing limb, the said person in this situation had beyond unique teeth situation, and it's very noticeable. So I don't know. What say you, Tom and Dan? Should we be prepped for these kind of things, or should we be adult and just handle them? All right, thanks, guys.
What the hell is a beyond unique teeth situation? What is that? Double sets of teeth like a whale shark?
Or
what are you talking about?
Is it like a rotten hillbilly teeth?
I can handle that. My family's from Virginia. I can handle. What?
But do you warn someone?
No.
Like, hey, this guy's got.
No. You have to be able to handle hillbilly teeth. If you're from Florida, if you're from the South, you can handle hillbilly teeth.
See, I like.
Hillbilly teeth?
No, okay, say
like the guy at Five Guys that I yelled at? I still feel bad about that. A man with black teeth, and I yelled at him.
Say me and you have a client meeting, right? And
yes.
I already met with this client.
We've had this happen before.
And then, now I can't use that exact example. So now I'm going to make one new one up.
Okay, make it new. Sorry.
So
sorry.
we have this
I'm a bad person.
We have this new client.
Yes.
And we have this meeting, and I already met with them.
Okay.
And then I found out some people have like a big splotch birthmark or like the
purple mark. Yeah,
like a purple.
I dated a girl that had a big birthmark.
Yeah, and then let's say he's got like a big purple splotch.
Yeah.
That's like hard, like it's off-putting. You're like,
pink
whoa,
purple.
Yeah. And see, I wouldn't give you the heads up because I'd get great enjoyment out of you.
It wouldn't bother me though.
No, I know, but if it was you or anybody else, like
I would know how to bother you. I would turn it on you. Like I would during the meeting. I would say things like, well, where did I put my splotches? I mean, swatches of colors for the different things. I would start throwing in little things, and I start rattling you, and you'd know I know, and you'd know I know, and you'd know I'm getting into your brain, and I'd be talking about like, here, just put your birthmark. I mean, just put your Hancock right here. Like I'd be just laying things in there to make it uncomfortable. See, but I do feel like, to go back to the question that Sharding Randy has, I do feel like it is important to give your partner, whether it be business or loved one, all of the info. I do it to you. I brief you when we're having people come over or whatever. I try to give you a briefing, right? Like I'm like, it's this, or this. Don't do this. Their name is that. Put your pants on.
What if the person's a little person?
I am a little person, so I'd be fine with them.
No.
A lot of people don't know that. We've hidden that for years, but I am actually a little person.
Like, do you feel obligated to tell, like, if you're like, hey, like
no, I don't think you can do that one.
I know a little person. I would say friends with him, known him for.
He's an acquaintance. You distance yourself from him.
Oh, we thought of the things that we got.
You grew apart. You grew
apart. I'm saying
apart.
I got busy with my business, you know. But and I think he's still
You're busy
to the
doing
show.
your normal-sized people things.
Mini drunkie, Alan.
I love Alan. He's a good man.
So if I was inviting him over, let's say to our fantasy football league.
You've invited him over to places before and warned no one.
Yeah, because I like when everybody freaks out.
Yeah, you've done that.
Yeah.
You've invited him to pool parties
and then I'm
stuff,
like,
and then
what's wrong with you?
And he comes over, and his whole and the rest of his family, and it's okay to say this, is
I'm like, bigot!
Bigot!
I just start screaming, bigot. Well, because I think that's what you are. If you somehow feel weird around little people,
you've done this
you're
before.
A bigot.
You've invited him over to a pool party before.
I feel perfectly comfortable around little people.
I do too.
Because of certain reasons.
Porno.
No. I just, it's kind of like, Woody Harrelson from White Men Can't Jump. He was fine hanging out with black people because he's best friends with the black guy.
Gotcha.
So that's the same scenario with me and you.
You're Castleberry Kid Rock. Castleberry Kid Rock. Oh, I thought you were.
No,
I'm Joe C. Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
I thought you were friends with another little person that happened to die.
Little people don't shock me in any
you're
way.
around them all the time. Okay, gotcha.
All this for them.
Hey, I'll take it.
Anyway,
I like it. I do feel like you owe it to your loved one to warn them, and it goes in different orders too. Like,
well, if it's your wife or husband, that's one thing. But if it's your friend,
teeth is not a big deal to me, dude. I mean, like it is a big deal. Like sometimes I'll question, like teeth. It's that's a hard one for folks. Teeth, that one hurts. When you got a tooth issue, you got a chip or something like that, oh man, that'll reshape your confidence like in a hurry. But I don't really look at teeth as being like in the category of like, hey, just letting you know this person doesn't have a limb. If you go to shake someone's hand, maybe they have a deformed hand, or maybe they.
Oh, we have a BDM.
We do.
Lobster Man.
Yeah. So polite of you to call him Lobster Man.
I see him all the time.
We used to call him Mr. Krabs, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Claw.
It is extremely disrespectful, and I only say it because I hopefully he's listeting and he'll laugh at it.
He would laugh at it. I think we'll probably get an email from him if he's got enough fingers to hammer it out.
But but that it's like a missing. What if they're in a wheelchair?
I don't think wheelchair counts.
Do you mention it?
No, it's like teeth.
Like, so say
they might mention it.
Like, say you.
I've never met.
You invite Jana, Jana Banana, the startlivinglucky.com.
Yeah.
They're a plug. They're doing. I follow them on social media.
They're kicking ass.
But
kicking ass.
Let's say I invite her over to watch football.
Yeah.
Do you tell?
Why are you doing that? You're a married man. Why the hell would you do that?
No, I'm saying at a party.
Are you trying to like cheat on your wife with Jana Banana? Startlivinglucky.com.
Of course, it's stupid to even mention it. But do you give a heads up? Like
your house isn't even got a ramp. There's no way she could even get in your
No,
house.
you could lift her up. I did that at your house.
I know. We almost broke her neck.
She fell backwards and hit her head.
I almost wanted to run into the house and shut the door.
Well, that was because it was just like I don't want to help Sam lift the stuff because I feel like it's sexist.
It is.
To run over.
You should never help women.
No, I don't want her to take it like that. And same thing with Jana. She's trying to get down a step. I didn't want her to make it be like, oh, let me grab the back, because she's a bigger athlete than I am.
Wheelchair, you say nothing about.
But do you run over to help them in every situation?
No,
do you?
No, only if they ask.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, only if they
But
ask.
then she fell and hit her head.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, you monster.
You'll take that to your grave. You chose wrong. You chose wrong on that one. You had a choice, just like the cop, just like Tyreek Hill. You had a choice to de-escalate the situation. What did you do? You chose to do nothing. You let her die. You let her knock her head open. Some would say, though, you gave her the best gift you've ever given somebody because after that day and after she hit her head, she became super positive. And look at her now. Startlivinglucky.com. Let's try one more. I think we got time for one more.
What's up, guys? So I'm currently watching the Starliner come back into orbit. Tom, you're right. They're sending her back. And then, they're up there watching their escape pod go back to Earth.
Andrea said the same thing to me. That is terrifying. To be in a vehicle, or no, you're in the space station, and the vehicle that got you there is broken. So you send it back down.
Yeah, no other way. Yeah.
And then you got to wait till February for SpaceX to get up there and get you. That's insane. These people are like the bravest. It's like...
Those guys, but the astronauts they're wired differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like saturation divers.
But it's cool, right? It's cool that I want to hear what it was like. I want to hear, I don't know. The whole story is fascinating to me. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. And I guarantee you they would, after they go eventually get them, it's going to be a boring, like everybody's waiting for, like, what did it feel like? They're like, nothing.
Yeah. I was just waiting for months to get home.
Yeah. Like we just followed the protocol. We did our daily exercises. And we knew we were fine with, perfectly safe. Like that's how they're not going to give you the answer that you want with the drama and the movie answer, because these people are, especially NASA. Like now, what's interesting is we're sending civilians up in space, and they will freak out because they don't. They're not vetted.
Is the walk today?
I'm not sure.
Aren't they doing a civilian spacewalk?
Yeah, it's
today?
the first ever. Yeah. But like things,
don't you kind of want? Man, I shouldn't even say that. I ain't even like putting that out into the universe. But don't you kind of want to see somebody go like, "Oh my god, ah!
Because you want to see him act the way you would act, freaking out.
Like all the alarms are going, pull him in.
Yeah.
Sucked into a black hole.
When you go out and do a spacewalk, I wonder if
I wonder what it feels like.
The SpaceX spacesuits are more, I think they're smaller and they look cooler than the traditional.
Yeah, they're not the big. They are.
The big balloony moonies.
No, they're not balloony moonies. That's great. That's a great name. Is that the actual title of them? Is balloony moonies? That's fantastic. Did you just think of that?
You can't even move. I think they're
the big balloony
slimmer
moonies.
Fit and they look cooler.
They're more like a European suit. Like they're the suit legs don't even come down to your loafers, and then you have tiny little cuffs. So you have like a little crest over here.
Oh, my ankle blood is evaporating. All right, we will see you tomorrow.
My ankle blood is evaporating. That's how we ended the show. That's a great way to end.
That's what happens when you're out in space.
Fucking A. Are we? What are we?
We're doing one more segment, 20 minutes.
Okay, we're doing one more 20, guys. Oh God, that's very funny. That is Wednesday. No. Tuesday 4. Got it.
So now we got Tuesday 2 and Tuesday 4.
We have Tuesday 2, 4, and 3.
Yeah, and then we just did Tuesday 2 with the cop.
Yes. We have 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. And 1 will be Chris Kazan.
Yes. Add 1. I gotta edit the cop. Ghost, we got a lot of messages from people about Tailors. We had one crazy message about Tailors that somebody left me that I want to bring up. So, we had a listener hit me up about Tailors, and he said he lived in Texas, and then he said he just moved back here, and he had dropped off a custom karate gi when he lived here 3 years ago at a tailor, and when he came back into town, he called to see if they still possibly had it, and the lady goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you, I've got it right here." He confirmed the shit, and I'm like, what?
So they just keep it.
They just keep it.
Just in case the person comes back, because it's worth probably more.
Yeah, they also, it's like, when you think about it, if you can keep it, you've made that customer probably for life. But
I mean, that seems
crazy.
Like
2, right?
Yeah.
This is for Wednesday.
Let's talk about that Taylor thing.
Oh, okay. I got the email.
And this is going to be a short segment, just like 10 minutes. So it's perfect for the one email.
It's 2 emails.
Okay,
really,
perfect.
If we need them.
We'll do it, yeah.
How long
Are
is
they
this?
both about the
Tailors,
Taylor?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect. This is going to be like a 10 to 12.
Okay. Coming back?
Yeah, coming back. It's going to be for Thursday, 2.
Okay, I'll bring us back. Here we go. 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So on the BDM show, I brought up the fact that Crystal brought a bathing suit to a tailor. I had to go pick it up, and then I saw tons. I mean, in every tailor I've been into, even dry cleaners are like the same thing. There's just so many clothes around.
It's
like,
a lot, yeah.
I mean, to the hoarder level where that's
Yeah.
what it looks like. Now, they
Well,
are.
it's no different than a cash register store.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
different
yeah.
than a old television repair store, right? It's an old world trade.
And they
You're
look.
fixing something.
Yeah. But there's so many garments that
Yeah.
I was like, who are all these? Are they
Especially if you lay them flat.
Yeah.
If you ball them up, less room.
And I'm like, are these items that have not been picked up? Are these items that are still being worked on? Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, why is there so
Great
many clothes?
question.
Anyway, and then we had, and by the way, if you want to be a BDM, sign up at tomandan.com. We've got a Oktoberfest BDM party we're doing in October
Yeah, man.
that you'll get invited to, and we're already planning our BDM appreciation event next year. So lots of, there's a couple free events a year.
Yeah,
you
come
get
hang out with us at Hollabox. It's awesome.
Yeah, extra shows and things like that.
This particular email, to kind of go back to the Taylor thing, says, "Hey guys, this is from Tate." He says, "Hey guys, listening to a BDM show today, and you're talking about tailors. I used to work in West Texas in an oil field, and while out there, I dropped off a karate gi to be tailored a bit, and ended up quitting my job and coming back to Florida before I picked it up. 3 years later, I was back out there working and called the shop, and the lady immediately said, 'Oh yes, I remember you, and I still have it here.' 3 years. I drove by, picked up my gi, and was back in business."
Okay, so
That's from Tate. Thank you, buddy.
now, so that leans toward all those extra clothes are like forgotten clothes or left behind clothes.
Well, I mean, not forgotten.
Well,
He picked it up 3 years later.
He did. Now, I would have to say, though, that the vast majority of left behind clothes probably
At the end of the year, you probably donate them to the Salvation Army, I would imagine, right?
Well, I was saying, like, the person probably, like, it's got to be a rarity for someone to come back years later and pick it up,
Like
right?
a storage unit. Like once you've died or moved on,
Yeah,
you'd
yeah.
never go back for that stuff.
But this,
I have a pair of leather pants
yeah.
that I want. I think I don't know. I was doing something with them. Like I wanted to. I had a pair of leather pants that I bought at some biker shop, and I wanted them to stitch something funny on the ass. I forget what it was. And the guy did it, and I had paid for him, and then I just like time marches on, and I just left them. Like it didn't cost a lot, it was like $60 or something, and I just left them, and they're still there.
Do you think they're still there?
I think the leather place is gone. It used to be that Ace Cycle and Leather in Sanford, Florida. I don't think it's there anymore. But if they were there, I would call and ask.
So, but the question being, though, are these tailors and dry cleaners keeping those clothes just in case the person does come back and get them? Is that the reason they're keeping them? Is it laziness?
Disorganization.
Because
not having a way to handle.
Why aren't they donating the clothes after a certain amount of time? I mean, this guy maybe has led me to believe that they keep them just in case the person does come back, because it's probably at least that karate gi that or do you already pay for the stuff up front? I don't know.
This ChatGPT says here, if the clothing is not picked up after the job is completed, some tailors may hold onto it for a few months. But this policy varies by shop. It's a good idea to check with the tailor shop directly about their specific time frames and storage policies.
So they're just they hold on to them and they just too lazy to throw them out, or just they don't care.
Well, I guess you probably feel bad about it, right? Like, especially if it's nice. Like if somebody dropped off a tuxedo and I hemmed it and like took it in and made it look great, it would be very difficult, even if I don't want it, for me to take like, you know, a bespoke, you know, tuxedo that I just worked on and just punt it into the trash.
Well, maybe you could resell it too. There's the resale industry. Like, let's say when like mechanics, if they do work on a car and the person doesn't pay, then they have there's some agreement that you signed that they can take ownership of the vehicle and then resell it. Now that's a huge item.
I used to sign something at the seamstress I used to go to that was something to the effect of 30 days. I'm virtually certain it said it on the tab.
But then I guess reselling some custom hemmed pants is probably, you know, who's going to buy that?
Right.
So that it's like worth nothing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is from our buddy Ryan. He says, hello, show. On the September 9th BDM show, the topic of tailors and their cluttered workspaces came up. I just happened to have an appointment with one the very same day. Here's my incredibly boring report. This was a sweet Hispanic grandma who took my measurements. The workspace was very well organized with only a few things on hangers ready to pick up. There was no real back room where mountains of clothes could be stored unless I overlooked it. I don't think the lack of clutter was indicative of her quality of work because she had over 200 positive Google reviews. I think the lack of clutter is because she asked for payment up front. Customers are more likely to get their stuff out of the studio if they already paid for the work. Wow, that's interesting. I've never had a tailor ask for payment up front. On a side note, she was very modern with her approach to things. She only took digital payments and had a QR code for everything to be scanned. She was appointment only. She had Squarespace. She sounds like she's a little more, she's like a digital tailor.
It must, okay, it probably is the payment up front. Because think about how many times.
I've never heard of that.
You drop something off, you're like, I'm going to get tailored. Then you keep forgetting to pick it up. Then you're just like,
I hate it.
I'm not, you convince yourself you don't even need it,
and you're certainly not going to pay for something you hate.
And then these people just end up getting.
He got it. Ryan
tons
got it.
of. So then why don't they change the policy?
I don't know, but you answered our question.
It's not even expensive.
It is 100% the policy because you are absolutely correct. If I'd have paid for those leather pants up front to get them done, of course I would have, because that's the way you do that. Psychologically, you pay for the thing, you go pick it up. But if I'm just dropping it off somewhere, it's closer than the dump. I'm literally just giving you my trash.
So why don't other tailors adopt the pay up front? Have they just not thought of it? There has to be a reason. We need a Weird Job Wednesday.
We need a tailor. I need a new tailor anyway. So
is it based on ethnicity? And that
this lady's Spanish. This was a Spanish grandma.
Because the other tailors that I know of are Asian. I'm just gonna be honest with
I've had Asian and mean bitchy white lady.
No, never had a white lady.
The bitchy white lady passed away. She was really good. Like horribly mean, but really good on the. She would take the bottoms of my expensive pants, the jeans or whatever the factory cuff is, and take it off and then reapply the factory cuff so it didn't look hemmed. It was badass.
How hard is sewing?
I want to learn. I've told Andrea for years it has been a goal of mine to do my own pants, but I want to do it the way this lady did. This lady, like these chubbies. See the bottom, how that's hemmed like a factory?
Yeah.
She'll take that off and then take it up and then put the factory lining back on. You'll never know it was touched. It's crazy good.
What takes more skill, sewing or welding? Like in the highest level. Like if you were able to take a master welder and a master
I feel like they're similar too.
Or seamster, I don't know.
Seamster? I don't think you call it a tailor.
You call a tailor. Okay.
Yeah, but I like a seamster. It's like a teamster. If you join the union and you're a tailor, you're a seamster.
Never said I was smart. I'm just asking this dumbest question possible.
Like seamster. Seamster's pretty cool. Tailor sounds ridiculous. What am I? Like, that's like cobbler.
But what's
too old?
What's harder to learn?
They're very similar, right? You're running a line. They're very, you got to have like, the string would be the welding material and or your type of welder, your gas, your power.
If you gave me 2 weeks to learn either trade, which am I better at faster? Like they say.
Welding.
Like they say.
I think you would get the knack of welding faster because I don't think.
Well, let's say based on zero skills, like just an average person teaching them how to weld, teaching them how to sew.
What are you sewing?
Like, I guess the equivalent would be hemming pants.
With a sewing machine?
Yeah.
So it'd be sewing machine versus welding machine.
Yeah.
And then the skill level of
After
both.
2 weeks, who does better? You know what I'm saying? And I know better is subjective, but like you look at the final product.
So I guess the welds would have to look good and be strong.
Yeah, and then the same thing with
the sewing.
Yeah,
the sewing is have to be strong and look. It's really close to the same type of thing. And both sound, for you, equally difficult. But you're like, I am going to say this because I want to make you mad.
My attention to detail.
But your fingers, right? Like, sewing to me would, like even just threading a needle. When's the last time you did that?
Well,
it's really hard, dude.
But also, like, learning how to work the sewing machine and experience, like, obviously plays into both fields.
You put the little thread on the top and you run the line down and you got to run it through. And there's certain ways you got to run it through, and then you got to make sure the needle doesn't break, and you got to have the distance of the machine, the right amount between the machine and the pair of pants.
Yeah. And this kind of similar to welding. I mean, we went to welding class.
But then you got to know how to cut the pants off correctly, disassembling the garment, right? See, there's a part of disassembling a garment that a seamstress does that you don't have to. You're just putting things together when you weld.
That comes with experience, but the similar with knowing the correct types of welding techniques and metals you need.
Yeah,
and, there's
right
like
temperatures.
It's we have to find a master welder and
versus
a tailor, and then send them.
They're very similar. I think that's interesting.
I know who would win in a fight. It might surprise you. I think.
Might have seen
I'm not
going to
tell you.
On Patrol Live. I think I've seen welder versus seamstress.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Got it.
I just wanted to do quick 10 that way with Joey. After we just do 30 with him, and then 20 with Catan. Yeah, that's
All right, great.
And then we'll come back at 1. Oh yeah.
That's Thursday 2. Yeah, Shred Bear. It sounds like they're extremely similar. I wonder if anybody does both. There probably is someone. All right, y'all. We're going to take a lunch, and we will be back.